bus station that he dropped us off at, and then we took a train into Rome. But yeah, me and this other guy wanted to stay out. I made one good friend on this whole trip, and he was really nice. And he was like interested in the same things I was, like savoring the city, the smells, the food, everything. That's what I was glad I found him. And we walked around Rome a bit at night, and then made our way back to the train station where we were meant to take a shuttle bus back to our camp. And when we got there, they weren't running anymore. The guy had told us the wrong information. They stopped at a certain time. He didn't tell us that. He said, oh yeah, 11 o'clock they stopped. They probably stopped at 9. So we had to get on a bus, and then they dropped us as far as they could, close to where they think we were going. And then we had to walk. We picked up this family from Amsterdam as well, because they needed to get to this place, but all the shuttles to this place stopped. So they were basically fucked. The other choice was to get a taxi, but we were assured by the guide there was only a 30-minute walk or something. Yeah, it's just down the road. You just walk down this straight road and you'll be there, mate. Another fucking thing that bothered me was Contiki is full of Australians. And every place you go to almost is the guide that shows you around is Australian. And they're all, I guess, I don't know, is it an Australian company? Whatever. But yeah, and they all only talk about Australian things. You go to Contiki bars, that's all they fucking talk about is rugby, football, getting drunk. If you want to experience that, sure, go ahead, do it. It was boring as fuck for me, so if I had a long day ahead of me, I would just go to sleep at like 8 o'clock at night, try and block out the noise, because the noise from everyone else was so impossible to endure. I stuck like foam into my ears and put like Slipknot on full volume, and I still could hear this noise. The people in, like, you bunk with 4 people in sometimes, and some of them, we were stuck with this fat bastard, and he would snore and fart all night long. It was a nightmare. Yeah, so there's that. If you don't like people, first off, don't do this thing. If you want any space to yourself, there is not much. You get what you pay for, I guess. But yeah, I guess I thought differently. I had heard stories of Contiki, and I thought it was a really well put together thing, but you soon learn how they cut corners and use all your money to they get a big cut themselves. And all along the trip, they don't say this, but all the activities that you go to, you have to pay extra. I thought it was included in the original price. Every activity that you go on as a group is usually, we'll just add this to your extra bill, which ended up being about $1,000 for me. They didn't really explain that in the beginning. So as the tour wore on, we finally made it back to the camp 2 hours later, after walking in the dark in the Italian countryside. The only way I remembered where the camp was there was a bushfire earlier, so I remembered the smell of the burning land, so I made my way that way, and we eventually got there. after walking since 7 a.m. in the morning, at 11 o'clock at night, absolutely exhausted, I walked into the camp and I just said, if I see that fucking guide, I'm going to kill him. But I was too tired, so I had a shower in the shitty showers that they had, and yeah, that was that. The next day, there was like a terrible earthquake in one of the regions of Italy that was near Rome, and 300 people died. So that kind of put a downer on everything. But the guide didn't even know, and he never mentioned it again. Yeah. Then I think for me, and another thing, by the time, like 6 days into it, everyone was starting to get very sick. It could have been the sneezing from that one guy on the boat. It could have been that. His germs circulated around and around, and you're stuck on a bus for a lot of hours a day. So the germs just are like trapped in a glass tube, a glass box, and they just keep circulating. So you try and get medicine from these towns in Italy and whatever. Some of them don't even sell, like, some of them don't sell proper stuff. I think the major point for me was in Austria. We were on this, this is the absolute worst bit for me. We were doing these canoe rides down the rapids, and they never mentioned how serious it could be. Serious you could get injured. They just, pass over the kind of explanation, and then they all get in. You get in these like donut tube things, and you go down the river, the rapids. And then at one point, the guy who was controlling our boat, he said, "Yeah, jump over the side." So we all did that. I jumped in. I'm getting winces thinking about it. I dived into the water. My feet went straight down, and my left foot crashed onto a rock. The water was not deep at all, and my left foot crashed onto a rock. My ankle I think it might have been broken, but I knew I'd fucked up, and I was in excruciating pain. I could not even move my foot, and I crawled back into the donut, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's the rocks." Thanks for telling me, you fucking retard. Yeah, so I hobbled into the boat. I could barely walk, and then we got to the end and onto land, and as soon as I got onto land, I knew I was completely fucked. My holiday was basically over. As much as I was starting to hate being on this tour, I thought, 1 week left. We're almost through it. And then this happens, and I think, for fuck's sake. I guess looking back now, I am thankful that I didn't dive in head first, or I'd probably be dead. Yeah, and my body would probably be still floating down that river in Austria because the people were so fucking incapable of doing anything right. People could see that I was in pain, but they didn't really say anything to me. They couldn't really give a fuck. Well, why are you limping? That's about the extent of the concern from the guide. it got worse. I couldn't walk downstairs. It took me fucking 10 minutes to get from the top floor of this place we were staying in to get to the bottom. So I thought, I hope this goes away soon. I hope it, like, I don't know if anything's broken. I can't even move my ankle. I don't know what's going on. And I was in excruciating pain, non-stop pain, and I had the flu as well. Everyone had the flu, really bad. So I was hobbling. I was just in this fucking daze. And yeah, the next day we went for bike rides through Austria. Austria, very beautiful place. But yeah, not enjoyable when you're in serious pain and no one gives a shit. I said to the guide, do you think you'd be able to get a doctor or something? And yeah, he said, yeah, put some ice on it, bro, and yeah, we'll get you some help soon. So we went on this ride. I fucking almost felt like I was going to die, through the sheer exhaustion that they put you through. I thought I was in okay shape, but I obviously wasn't. And I couldn't put my foot down on the floor because it was so bad. Eventually, when we got to Switzerland, I went to this chemist. I bought this thing you put on your foot. I really think I should have been in a moon boot and had crutches at this point. But yeah, getting back to Austria, asking for help, I said, at the end of the day, I said, is the doctor swinging by? Did you manage to arrange something? And he goes, oh yeah, sorry man, the doctor's, he's not here in the whole town. There's only one doctor, and yeah, he's on holiday or something. So I was completely fucked. After the bike ride, I had like an hour nap. The afternoon activity included paragliding. I really wanted to do this, but I didn't know if I was going to make it. The thing with paragliding is you get strapped to a big Austrian guy, and then you have to run straight for this cliff and then just dive off, and you have to be able to land as well. The big problem was doing the running jump. And yeah, so I was determined to do it. So we got up there, I got strapped to the guy, this big Austrian oak, and he goes, I hope you can run. And I went, yeah, I'll try. And he goes, well, if you don't try, something bad will happen, yes? And that was a bit, yeah, we ran and jumped. I made it pretty easily. But as I was up in the air, I don't know if it was the sickness or the feeling of being strapped up there, and just that everything had gone wrong so far, that I was delusional. I thought the ropes were going to snap and I was going to plummet to my death. And then he started to do these tricks and everything, and I just thought, I just want this to end. I'm not a fan of heights when you're strapped in to a man-made capsule thing. I don't trust it. So, yeah, there was no help for a few days for my foot. We got to Switzerland. That was pretty good. That was probably one of my favorite bits. I was still in agony for my foot, and it was purple by now, purple and black, and I could barely walk. I had to walk on my tippy toes most of the time, or on the side of my foot that didn't hurt. I had to I had to wear 2 socks. I wore this brace thing that I bought from a chemist. Yeah. The good thing about Switzerland is we went up this mountain called Jungfrau, and the place was covered in snow, so my foot eventually became numb, so I could walk around. I really loved that. It's probably the highlight of the trip. I was very sick at this time. I think I had bronchitis. We were coughing up so much phlegm from all the flu that was... It was at fever pitch at this point. No matter how many... the strongest medicine you could take, it was still bad. I think we should have been on high dosages of antibiotics at this point. And the funny thing is, I actually had a flu shot before I left, and it did absolute fuck all, so I'm never having another one again. What else? Yeah, so I was up on this mountain. I'm going to get a bit personal now. You don't get much time to be alone, if you get what I mean. On these things, you've always got someone pestering you. I wanted to jerk off, basically. Not on the mountain. I wanted to find a toilet to just, release all this pent-up anger and rage that I had. So I just wanted to, I really needed a release. You know what I'm talking about, guys. You just need to get it done. I was up on the mountain, on the highest point in Europe. I was walking around in the snow, no one else around me. And then I hear this voice. "Oh, I knew it was you." I turn around and this gay, I'm not sure if he's gay, I think he was like closet homosexual guy, but I'd become really good friends with him. He was the one I was talking about, that we went everywhere. But I just wanted this moment alone, and I was at breaking point pretty much. And then this guy goes, he just comes out of the darkness of the snow, and then I go, oh, there goes that fucking idea. So he says, "Oh, let's go down the mountain together. It'll be fun." And there was a train like every hour, and I just thought, oh my God, can't you just take a hint and leave me alone? I kind of like went, yeah, I kind of want to stay up here a bit longer, but he was so persistent. So I had to hold it in, took the train down. It was a nice train ride. It was beautiful scenery up there. I eventually relieved myself. But yeah, you do not get any time to yourself. And if people were fucking each other, which is wont to do on these movable fuckfests at Contiki, it didn't really happen. I know that there was one girl, she looked like if she was 5 years old. She was walking around, and she in the hallways at night and going, "Why won't anyone fuck me?" I didn't hear it, but yeah, I probably would have ignored it. A lot of I was hobbling down the aisles, and oh yeah, so in Switzerland the next day I was walking around hobbling to get to this. I needed some stuff for the day, some supplies, so I was walking through the mist to get to the shop in this campground. No one else was around. Out of the mist, this guy walks, and I thought, oh my God, is that Nathaniel? This guy from work who, listening to go on about travelling around Europe, which originally got me really jealous and made me want to go on this holiday myself. This guy who had inspired me to go on this holiday, who I had no really connection with at work. But I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I ran into him? This is like 7 a.m, no one else around. I run into this guy from work on the other side of the planet. And wouldn't it be funny if I didn't even see him or just ignored him? But no, I reached out and said, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this. You were here." It was the weirdest kind of experience that I've had. And I really should have put a lotto ticket on or something. Because that really scared the hell out of me. So, I said, "Well, I guess I'll see you back at work then." That was the extent of it. But yeah, one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me. Sorry. Just gotta take a drink. Okay, so then we go to... I think we've been through Munich and all that. Yeah, that was walking around. I'm backtracking here. We went to Munich as well and went through Dachau. I had to do that. I have the utmost respect for the Jewish people.